Oh, and we are here for a new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too,
New
Mike.
Year.
You too, Melanie. And a new me, a new you, perhaps. We'll get into fresh starts today on the show, as well as some other things that are going on. And hopefully you had a good holiday. Feeling good.
Yeah.
Start of the year.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into it. I'll give you a chance to make some up if you haven't. Did you make any resolutions this year? Hold on. We'll get to that coming on up. And also, researchers have found the keys to happiness. So stay right here. We want to get into that.
Yeah. Good. It's all solved.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. The pessimism around here.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. You have every right to be, especially with the way things happened over the holidays that took our attention away from the holidays.
Yeah.
And you know what we're talking about. We're talking about those tragedies in Bourbon Street in New Orleans and then in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Though I think blowing up a Trump hotel to me isn't a tragedy, but that's just me.
Yeah, that truck looks like a flaming dumpster anyway in front of Trump Tower was already the image of the year.
Hey, by the way, before we get too far along, Danny Lemos over here.
Mike Stark over here.
I'm Melanie Ray.
We are Mornings on the Beach right here on KLBP for your weekend. And starting up the first weekend of the year, episode 007.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Secretive.
Yeah.
Baby.
So, and also Jimmy Carter, former president of the U.S., passed away at 100 years old. And the contrast, I think, between that and our soon-to-be president couldn't be greater.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad Jimmy doesn't have to see this.
Yeah, and well, maybe, he'd have something to say about it. Last time he did. Yeah. However, it just, the legacy that man's going to have. Now, we lived through the Carter presidency. Mm-hmm. So we remember there were some missteps.
Yes.
Especially when it came to things like the hostages. And was that really his fault?
Oh, no, it wasn't. Didn't Reagan held the
History's going to treat him kindly on that one.
I think so, too.
Yeah,
I think so, too. Especially
because who was the Shah or whatever wouldn't release the prisoners until Reagan was actually sworn into office. So that's one of those things. But
do we have time for a quick Jimmy Carter story?
Absolutely.
Okay, I was working at KABC, and Jimmy Carter came in to be on Michael Jackson's show at the time. If you remember Michael Jackson, who was a talk show host.
The talk show host.
Yes, the English talk show, not the other one.
Yes.
And he went into the studio, and then he came out because he had to go to the restroom. So he goes to the restroom, and on his way back, people are in the hallway just doing their normal business. And he shook hands with everybody in that hallway.
Wow. Wow.
So the only president I ever got to shake hands with. Of course, the question everybody had was, we hope he washed his hands after the restroom.
Of course.
Sorry, had to go there.
No, he was the real deal.
Yeah.
He was the real deal.
And I remember I was in high school, so lining up for gas, and everybody was blaming the president because back then we thought the president controls the gas prices. We know better.
Yeah.
And we still talk about it that way.
Yeah, we learned that lesson.
Yeah, and we're still saying that it's his fault.
Yes.
So, whatever. But I remember that the poor man was besieged and then left office after one term.
Right.
Was a good man. Mm-hmm. Maybe the last good man president we ever saw.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, but wow.
I think Obama was a good man.
Yeah.
Is a good man.
And history will treat him also
absolutely
kindly.
With this contrast.
But especially with what's about to happen. And we don't even have to wait until the presidency before we hear stupidity from the president-elect.
I'm trying to avoid it, and it finds me.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
And I'm doing the same thing, Melanie. I'm not reading the politics section of Apple News, trying to avoid it because nothing's happened yet, and it's going to happen. But, him going online right after the Bourbon Street massacre and talking about it's got to be somebody from another country that's come here.
I didn't even see that. I just saw that
even.
His tweet that was public, that he made public, that was supposed to be private to Elon Musk, where he was like, Elon, come over. Come over. Bill Gates is here, and we're going to talk about you.
And most people who have somebody working on their social media, like a celebrity.
No, but he knows everything, so he
he's
doesn't
do
even hire
himself.
people to run his pages.
So he's going to do the things that we do, which is, send a message that somebody doesn't intend to. Next thing would be a dirty picture or a picture of his feet.
Oh, God. There are no predictions.
Yeah, no. But
That's a big bingo card we got to make.
all of the connections that you could possibly make between what happened this past holiday, terrorist-wise, they can say, is, a small contrast to the fact that when the new president is sworn into office, the flags will be flown at half-mast. So, right. Yeah, because it's appropriate. Now, wonder if there'll be any change to that the day after. And also the big agencies. Do you know anybody that works for border control?
No, I don't.
I do.
Oh.
Yes, and guess what? The backlog that they have right now in cases is so grand that even if he starts on day one, it's very little he'll be able to accomplish in the first 100 days regarding that sweep of the country. The imagination goes wild with trucks sweeping up all the illegal aliens and taking them across the border. Yeah, that's not going to happen the way he says it's going to happen.
Well, let's write that story on the big wall he built last time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So why?
Have you visited that wall, by the way?
No.
Oh, jeez. What a mess.
No.
Oh, yeah, but every 20 miles you see there's a big hole or gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that worked out really well.
It's a dotted line.
And nobody's even caring anymore about that wall. No more. He's going to build one between us and Canada. Yeah.
No, he's going to make Canada a state.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, that was his last proposal.
Well, in that case,
the great Governor Justin Trudeau.
Yeah,
right. Hey, but what does he think he can do it by the wave of a wand or something? And annex Greenland as well?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he thinks he's magic.
Well, it's like I said, the fun hasn't even begun, and yet we've got plenty of. We could talk for an hour about the.
Let's not.
Okay,
let's pass on.
In that case, let's turn on to something a little more.
Swipe left or whatever.
Yes.
Right.
Do something that's a little more positive for you. And I spent my time and holiday also looking up stories that would be positive for us to talk about here on the air. And this one here comes from TCD. And I don't know what that stands for. But anyway, it's about a research team that was working with breaking down plastics. And they decided before they left for a holiday, to leave these, there's a word for them, enzymes, along with their plastic pile. Mm-hmm. And go away for the weekend, because these are things that belong in paint and thinner, but they're enzymes that help break down plastics. So they left them alone for the weekend and came back and found all the plastic gone. So great news. In other words, there is some technology which could eliminate or break down plastic in large quantities, and we already have them.
I hate to be a pessimist, but what sort of
are they going to eat us?
Yeah,
that's what Mike wants to know.
I want to know what sort of residue
there we go.
Well, that whole thing leaves for us to deal with as our next problem.
They probably would say, well, Mike, one thing at a time.
Well, I think,
we can handle this.
I think it's proof that when humans have eradicated ourselves, there's going to be something else that's going to clean up the planet for the next creature that will roam it and hopefully treat it better than we do.
It's going to be plastic. That's all that's going to be left. Cockroaches.
There's the irony there,
and plastic.
right?
Yeah.
We thought it was computers that would eat us. It's plastic.
But apparently the plastic that we now see in water bottles, whatever, as they recycle, they're coming up with new plastics that will help biodegrade themselves. So in other words, they're coming up with better plastic that can fall apart in landfills, etc. So that's good news, I think, anyway. Because you'll read so much about what's wrong with this world and how we're burning ourselves up.
There's always plastic-eating enzymes. Let's remember that.
Yeah.
Whenever you're feeling down and out, think about the plastic-eating enzymes.
I love that, yes. There's something to look forward to.
But at least there's plastic-eating enzymes.
And this is, I'm trying to find, the University of Alabama is where they did this. And they found that these microplastic beads, or whatever they're called, break down, like I said, when they come into contact with other known enzymes. Interesting. There's a scientific word, but you guys don't need to know that.
It's too many letters.
No. And also good news, we're going to live longer.
Is that good news?
Yeah.
For me. What about you? They say the life expectancy now is raised to 78.
Oh, I got a good 5 years left.
Oh, God, you didn't say like 5 months.
Yeah.
They apparently during COVID or during the pandemic, our life expectancy in the U.S. fell to 76. So going up another 2 years, not bad. You want to add more time? Mediterranean diet.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's on the Mediterranean diet.
I am. It's delicious.
I'm actually enjoying it.
Yeah.
Except for today, because I'm not supposed to eat anything. I'm going to have a colonoscopy tomorrow. So by the time you hear this, I'll be all through that. But I'm still not eating today, so don't piss me off.
Okay.
I'm hangry. You're not, no solid food, just water.
To me, the worst part of the colonoscopy is the prep.
You know, and for me, it's the drinking. Because, you know, you got to drink that vile liquid.
Oh.
Now, I went out and got Sprite because they said you could mix Sprite with it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Well, that's all an update from my last one 10 years ago. So you couldn't add anything to it. You had to drink that vile stuff. So there we go.
Today on a very special Mornings on the Beach.
Yes. I'm not doing the Katie Couric. We're not going to put a camera up there and put that online. Oh, my. Remember that? Live on TV. Oh, my God. But the last bit of news I have today was something that's a change, and who knows why it's happening. But scientists are perplexed about the fact that squirrels are eating rodents. And this was an experiment in Northern California. So they tagged and followed squirrels because they want to check about how their eating habits. Normally they only eat seeds and nuts and other things, right? So they followed this group of squirrels, and a couple of students set up a video camera and caught one of them playing with a mouse the way a cat would, where they attack it and then they kill it. They couldn't believe this happened because they didn't think that mice did this, or squirrels. So further study indicated that this has been going on in the backwoods up there. They're attacking for meat. They're eating. Normally they could eat a carcass if it was dead already. But there's no video that shows squirrels attacking a mice to kill it. They're called billows, and there's a lot of them. But apparently, what does that indicate for us?
You know, none of it's good.
You know, does that mean that we need to be careful because they're going to come after us next?
Rocky, we never knew you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, there's something about that whole thing that I think this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
This morning I was walking my dog down the alley because I thought there'd be fewer squirrels. And there was a squirrel on the ground, and I have a 70-pound puppy, so I just grounded myself and held on to her as hard as I could. I figured the squirrel would run up a tree.
No.
But it ran one side, climbed halfway up a fence, launched itself into the middle of the alley, ran to the left, ran to the right, ran to the left, down the whole length of the alley. And I just stood there holding my dog with all my strength. And I was like, squirrel, what's happening? I thought they would just go up a tree and run away, but they're not afraid of us anymore.
He's taunting. Yeah, right.
Well, combine that with now that they're meat eaters, and I don't like it.
Yeah, right. Well, we see Greyhound in the dog park back a couple months ago corner, attack, and kill a squirrel. And so when I think of what Melanie just said, I think, well, you know what? It's just a game of, odds.
Yeah.
Was it their time? Or a backward slide off a tree, but wow. Yeah, let's hope that doesn't carry down the chain so that we have other animals consuming flesh. We leave that to Armie Hammer.
Oh, God.
Did you hear about that this past week?
No, I did not.
He claimed that, in his therapy, he's discovered within himself that perhaps he wanted to get caught because of the way he was brazen about it and posted stuff online or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, did anybody ever find out whether he actually ate someone? He threatened, and his girlfriend said he bit her. But that's as far as it goes in the press. Yeah. Anyway, it's one of those macabre things that I just paid attention to when I was looking at it. But we have a song coming up.
Yay.
And I picked it because there's always some reference that we have in our songs to something we talked about. And this one has a reference to squirrels if you listen carefully. But in the meantime...
And it also has references to everything else, like drones in the sky, about UFOs.
Plastic-eating enzymes?
Yeah, nope. I don't think that's
It's hard
mentioned.
to rhyme with enzyme. I just did.
Yeah, there you go. And this is called...
They aren't...
the suspense.
They're not here. They're not here. They're not coming.
And neither is Mike. But anyway, correct. Here they are.
That's what she said.
It's Mornings on the Beach. And coming up, we got a song that Mike will lead us to?
Yeah, this is a song that's actually done by a great artist, Stephen Kellogg, but he's such a positive guy in most of his songs that he decided to release this under the name Death by Foxes. This is Red Wave or Eggs.
Once again, another cheery song here on Mornings on the Beach for your morning. Wow. When they come for you, my biggest fear is that someday they're going to show up and knock on the door here and ask us to come with them. We were talking while we were listening to the song about like where we define ourselves when it comes to the age groups. I'm a baby boomer.
So am I.
Solid Gen X.
So we represent these two generations. And I guess most of you out there were also probably around our age too. So we're talking about things that went on when we were young, our very first election. And I said mine was after Carter. So that would have been Ford? No. Yeah, Ford, no?
Ford never ran.
Who came after President Carter?
Reagan.
Oh, well, in that case, that would have been my first
Bush,
non-vote.
And then he just went, Reagan, and then Daddy Bush, who just went one term.
Yes, my first election, I voted for the great Richard Nixon.
And now looking back, you feel silly.
Well, I don't feel as silly as I did back then, but no.
Yeah.
So anyway, I voted for Richard Nixon. I was a Republican, registered Republican. And then Nixon and Watergate threw all that out the door. I said, that's it. I've been lied to. I've been cheated. Never again. And never went back.
Wow.
My first vote was for Clinton.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was the first run.
I hosted my first fundraiser for a political candidate for Hillary Clinton in our home in Studio City, California, when David Mixner was in charge of bringing around to the LGBTQ fundraising sites. We were one of them. And I'll tell you this, when you entertain the First Lady, don't worry about it too much, because she came in the back door, went through the house, and left by the front door in all of 14 and a half seconds.
That's what they call working the room.
Believe it.
A trained politician.
Right. We had spent a week getting ready for her.
Right.
Expected her to at least notice the detail in the living room. Forget it.
No,
she was in and she was out. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. And the reason I talked about our different age groups is because I found this on BuzzFeed. I love their little surveys they do all the time. And here is one about what young people, so we're talking younger than us, think about us and the things that are brutal to them that they think we do and nobody else does anymore. One of them is the phrase, "It's amazing any of us survived." And this was posted by somebody who said, "Boomers love to say it's amazing any of us survived when you tell them their parenting advice is outdated."
Ouch.
Well, we're talking about that once about being in cars without seatbelts and, and no dashboards, all that stuff. I love that one. Doing the whole, now take a silly one when you're taking a photo group.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's boomers. I thought that college kids do
Well,
the same thing.
I think too. It grew up when you had to develop film, so there was an investment in taking an image.
True.
You wanted one good one and one silly one.
you know-
because you couldn't afford to do 20 and then take it to Thrifties and get it
You are
developed.
correct.
Remember that?
Made a big difference. Yeah.
Remember, it's amazing any of us
That's
survived.
why
Wait a
we
minute.
didn't do selfies. Boomer. Even his dog's name is Boomer.
That's true. What about trusting Google Maps? Do you guys trust Google Maps?
Oh, I totally trust
Yes.
them.
Okay, they said boomers love not trusting Google
Oh,
Maps. That's
no,
what
I-
My sense of direction is worthless. I trust.
You trust it?
Oh, yeah,
I
more
totally
than my own.
trust it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's like,
Sometimes it sends me in weird places, but it always is right.
yes.
Every
Yes.
time.
Like when you're coming home and it says go to the bridge instead of come down the 405, and you know there's something ahead that you're not aware of.
Well, when it
And
has
they
me
are.
going through neighborhoods I wouldn't think of going through, and it's avoiding some sort of traffic is what it's doing.
Unless you said out loud in your car, boy, I'd love a chicken sandwich. And Siri starts looking for chicken sandwiches.
Right. There you
Yeah.
Or
go.
sometimes Lyft drivers will follow the Google Maps, and you can't make a left onto 7th Street here. You'll never
Right.
get your turn. So some of it is like just knowing your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Sure.
What about boomers love to refer to cannabis as pot?
Well,
I'm thinking, do I use that? I don't use that anymore.
I don't either.
No.
I still call it pot.
Maybe
you
weed.
I call it weed.
They say the same thing about us, saying weed, calling it weed.
What are the kids calling it these days?
You know, that's
Cannabis.
Cannabis?
I
Oh,
guess.
get over yourself.
Right. And what about I don't have any. This one is boomers love to have glass cases full of crystalline figurines.
No.
No. Not me.
Oh, my stepmom did.
Oh, well, then
yeah, she had a whole. Oh, I hated it though.
And this one I'm guilty of. Leaving a voicemail simply saying, "I have a question. Call me back."
I have recently quit leaving voicemails. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and I asked her, "Are voicemails a thing, or do you just see that somebody?" They're not a thing anymore. You just see somebody called and you call them back.
I have friends of every generation, but my younger friends, I will text them and say, "Got a minute? Let's chat," instead of texting back and forth.
Yeah.
And you'll call them, and they won't answer, and then they'll text you the next question they want to ask you right away. Like, not like, what? Would you just see your phone?
Yeah.
Right.
No, that to me is
Very
crazy.
odd.
Yeah. What about boomers like to leave a message like, oh, I said that already. Question, call me back.
Boomer.
Boomers love a good paper shredder. I'm guilty of that. I love a good shred this. Yeah.
Well, the pack rat in me doesn't allow me to shred. I've got.
Wait a minute.
I've
That's
got
a good one.
boxes and boxes and boxes of paperwork.
Yeah. Really?
That could be shredded.
Okay, we got to get together because I love to shred stuff.
You know, I'm an angry Gen Xer, so I like to either rip it up or burn it.
Or burn it.
Yeah.
Me too. But Mike, see, the thing is, how long do you save things that you need from taxes?
It's ridiculous.
No,
what
3
I've saved.
years. That's all.
No, I've saved. I probably have stuff from the 80s.
Oh man, I love it. I'd love to go through your garage then and say, "This we're
you
getting rid of.
wouldn't.
This we're getting rid of." I want to go through. Anybody that's a hoarder out there, give me a call.
I may hire you because that needs to happen at my house.
And I'm one of those people that can make a judgment right away, saying, "Nope, that one's not going there," because I do that in my closet.
But we're friends now, so I guess I better not.
yeah, no.
By the time that was over, I
See that,
think
yeah.
I'd be mad at you.
It is
Well,
one
and
of
if
those things.
if it's in dot matrix, you can throw it away.
Exactly.
Right? If it's
Exactly.
toss it.
The oldest thing, right? And
Right.
I already went through my spices. I did that on a show once before, talking about how I had spices that end date was 1985.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, come on. So I had to look
But
at all
it's
of
still
them.
good. The spices don't go bad.
Then you use
generally.
it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not using
We'll
that.
put them in your garage.
Yeah, no. And then soup. Oh my God, I had soup in my cabinet that was dated in 2021, and I had to clean all that stuff out.
Is that not okay? I thought soup
I
lasted
thought that'd be
forever.
all right.
Yeah, but it says expired. Best Buy 2021. It's now 2025. You think it's still good?
I don't know about those Best Buy.
Yeah.
I don't go. Those are ways of just selling you more soup.
My mother used
It's
to wait.
Big Soup trying to screw us again.
Correct. I'm with you, Melanie.
Because it wasn't always that if it popped up, the can swole up at the top, you weren't supposed to open it.
Oh, yeah, well, that's
that's
different. That's different.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's
Because
different.
now this norovirus is going around. What is wrong with you people? Wash your hands. Because apparently that one can be prevented easily.
Yeah.
And isn't there something else that's now coming for us? The bird flu. Is that for humans or is that for pets? I don't understand.
It's everybody. It's
Is it gonna come for
squirrels.
us?
It's all coming for
Oh, then
us.
we're going to fall and the squirrels are going to eat us, and there we go. That's the way it's going to go down. But I'm looking forward to having a more, how can I put it? A more relaxed year when it comes to just, taking care of oneself and taking care of one's responsibilities, and also hopefully educating people. Mm-hmm. Sitting around the house during the holidays, I thought to myself, I really like to be with people, hopefully teaching them something. Isn't that, you're selfless, but that's your thing, right? And then somebody tried to make it a problem that I didn't like to take care of myself because I took care of others first.
Balance. See,
I've
that's
never
why-
found that I was doing that, but maybe I am because I was complaining about having time I'm spending at the radio station, but I love it. So
Right.
it's not like, anyway. Boomers love a Southwest credit card. You got one, Mike? I don't.
A Southwest credit card?
You
Yes.
know, I've
got a ton of.
Do you really?
I do, but I
Uh-oh.
got it. So I'm 51. The year I turned 50, I decided I wanted to go visit all my friends who were also turning 50. So I got and I was getting a divorce, so I figured I might as well get points, right? So I got a Southwest credit card.
Wait a minute. Did you just say you got points for your divorce?
I'm getting points for my divorce. A couple trips, and I'm charging.
I
I'm
thought
charging
for
it.
some reason my brain. Wayne Kramer there with Something's Broken in the Promised Land. What a great song.
It is.
Love
How
it.
prescient. He wrote that like years ago?
Yeah, many years ago.
Oh, whoa. It's Mornings on the Beach for your Saturday morning and Sunday as well. We rebroadcast this show.
Right.
So if some of the things we say are Saturday, Sunday appropriate, you got to be careful. However, we said before the song that we're going to talk about researchers finding the keys to happiness. And this is talking about a University of Chicago experiment, which began in 1938 with 724 students and a group of low-income boys as well. And they followed them and their happiness rates through the years, what made them happy, what made them sad, etc. Then they got the parents, the kids, the grandkids involved. So now the study is now almost 100 years old, and it's got 2,000 participants.
Wow.
And so they glean from all their research what they found the keys to happiness to be. And this is researchers, scientists were saying, so science now says they know. I made that part up. But one of the first things they talked about was how reaching out to somebody made these participants feel better about themselves. So, and it was established that while they commuted back and forth to school, they were told to reach out to one new person every week and then say how they felt. They said the commute actually felt better. Rather than longer, it felt better because they were interested in somebody else. If you've ever taken a plane ride and started talking to the person next to you who won't shut up, so you decide, I'm just going to go with it and let's see. I've had some really interesting conversations with people who just didn't tell you their life story.
Right.
And so they were looking at other things that make a sense, and they say managing your social fitness.
Oh, yeah.
So treating your sociability as like you would your gym. Schedule it.
Yeah.
So
I'm learning how to do that now.
If you have, I set aside time on New Year's Day to talk to 3 people that I haven't called in a long time, and it was fantastic. So that was, and I said, you know how to do that every month. Have a day that's about calling people. And so they were in my head, and as I would do my errands, I would say, I'm going to reach out to them now and see what they're doing, and they were all home, and it was great. So, and I feel socially fit.
Right.
It makes you feel better.
Well, I think on the other side of that coin, too, is I realize now that when I'm going to have a really social weekend or go to a couple parties, I need to lay back for a day and charge. You know,
I agree.
Yeah, because I'm very social as well, and I'll outspend what I have social energy wise. You know, so it's a strategy.
And I think that's a good balance.
Yeah,
that's going to be Melanie's word for the year. Balance.
It's my word for every year.
Yeah. Balance what you do. And another thing they found was in order to manage your level of happiness, so reaching out to people, including them in your life, use technology to your advantage. To be, in other words, are you following people that you know, but are you also interacting with them? Are you hitting the like button? So interacting means leave a comment. Sometimes it's nice to go back and read the comments people leave on your social media.
Right.
Are you doing that to your friends? And are you, because I know that when you meet people at parties, you go, well, I know all about you because I read about you on Facebook.
Right.
So what else is there to talk about? Because you know all about them. And also, this is a great one. To bring your level of happiness up, cultivate your level of attention. So what does that mean? When you go out, are you listening or talking more? I think I've definitely learned how to listen to people telling me their story. Sometimes it's the same story over and over and over again. But are you listening for any new information from people that you're with? You know those people that love to talk on top of you, and they're not listening to what you're saying.
Sure.
Or they say, not to change the subject. And then do.
Right. I don't want to gossip, but
that's another one.
Right.
So cultivating your level of being aware of that, you know, and don't be afraid to ask for help is the final point. That also brings you into contact with people who would be delighted to help you. You know, you think about, oh no, I don't want to burden my friends, but did you ever think maybe they would want to help you?
Right.
So you might want to try that. If you're in a situation where you need help, ask for it.
Right.
They say your level of happiness will increase, especially when you get oh yeah, no problem, I'll take care of that.
You know, I'm a humanist, so I believe the power is in those connections.
It is.
So if you ask for help, not only do you get help, but you also just created somebody who's going to ask you for help when they need it.
Absolutely, and that's really what's important.
So one of the things I do, because I tend to try to do it all by myself and blah, 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 is I would think, okay, if my best friend were in this situation, what would I tell her to do? I'd tell her to ask me for help. Right?
That's a great way to...
Yeah, would I talk to my friend like the way I'm talking to myself? No way. So, and that's the filter I put everything through. Would I tell somebody no if they reached out to me? Well, of course I wouldn't. So
That's great.
I won't get that from somebody else.
Yeah, and that's really one of those things that you just got to do by practicing.
Yeah.
You eventually, I have no problem asking for help if I need it, but I also structure what I need so that I'm getting an appropriate measure from people, because you don't want to burden somebody, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to say, let me teach you how to do this.
Well, not
so that you don't have
everybody's
to ask me.
Yeah, not everybody's capable of meeting every need. So it depends on what you need help with, you know.
I'm trying to think of the last thing I needed help with. Oh yeah, no, I was trying to build a fence and I couldn't hold it and screw in at the same time the bolts that had to be put in.
Common problem.
Yeah, so I'm doing it by myself because I'm one of those, I'll fix it.
Right.
I'm not going there, Mike.
I tried to take us there, but at least you saw that I was going there.
And we are now officially there.
Yeah, because we have to get out of here now. It is just our time. We have another minute left. So for Mornings on the Beach, I'm Danny Lemos.
I'm Mike Stark.
I'm Melanie Ray.
And really enjoy your Saturday and
Happy
Sunday.
New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
We've got it together, baby.
Oh, baby.